Not all base spots are created equal in Conan Exiles, and with this new visual upgrade, that's become even more apparent. So I thought I'd show off some of my favorite spots in each of the areas with a couple of criteria. Not just looks, although the looks are really good. We'll also be wanting resources, thralls, whether it's close to fast travel, some danger about, you know, the building space and the PvE and PvP usefulness, because those things do matter. Now, pretty much none of these spots in the beginner area are going to be wildly useful for you in PvP long term. You can build a shack wherever you like, but in PvE, maybe this is your long-term home. You can fast travel to other places, but when you're starting out, having access to thralls and resources can be pretty dang handy because you're not going to have a map room straight away. Now, a lot of the little islands along New River are pretty nice to build out, and we'll talk about a few of them, but this one is particularly nice. It's a nice size island. We are in I4. If you like to build a bit of a dock-themed roleplay thing, plenty of space for activities for that on either side, plus lots of flat room, rocks and trees, plus bushes, and a bit of animals. So you got all those beginning base building bits right here. Even a couple of eggs to snack on and turtles to slay. It is directly across from another very nice area. It is also flat and can make for a good dock-like build. Anywhere along here I've built some pretty sprawling bases. We then have close proximity to a tiny little thrall camp, but these thrall camps in particular can actually give you potentially named crafters. They're not going to have the best XP in the world, if I could speak, and I don't have their XP bars visible currently. I'll change that. There we go. But a tanner's a tanner, and he might be even a blacksmith or something way more useful, but look at all this room for bloody activities. And when you're a beginner player, it is much easier to build in flat lands. And if that was the only requirement, there's a fair few spots, but we're looking for beauty as well as just a big flat area. Otherwise you just build on top of that pillar, which is where I have my stuff on my other save, which I can't access because mod issues. Yay updates. We also have slightly better thralls across the way where we can get some sorcerers potentially down here and bearers, which are really handy. Some resource boxes. I believe there's even a jailer in this area somewhere. Could be tripping. Or you can get yourself a Kuda the Crush. We also have close proximity to every single baby turtle you could ever need on Turtle Beach. And a little bit further up around here we have some decentish iron spawns that you can run to and get. With another pretty close, nice thrall camp where you can get... This is where the jailer is. Oh, actually someone in the cage, look out. Also in close proximity to Executioner's entrance with spiders, brimstone and metal all in there. Some skeletons to kill. Ooh, resources, XP, you know how it is. Now, unfortunately, none of these spots are wildly close to a map room. Obelisk. You can build a map room wherever you like once you learn it. So I do advise potentially learning the teleportation stone so you can maybe be a little bit closer to some of the places that you like to go a bit more regularly through sorcery. Another spot I quite enjoy, especially now with the visual update, we have access to Thrall down here, who's one skull. You can potentially tame them. I actually do have to double check that. These guys will drop Ica, the lizards, as well as just random other stuff you need. But Ica. And if you kill this dude, ma'am, you might even get bits of their armor. We have a cute little inland lake, which luckily isn't super wavy like the river outside. It's just generally a really pretty place, especially now we got these lovely shadows and glistenings going on. Just across the way, can't speak, away from here, we've got a Groot monster we can kill for legendary keys. Do have to go to an actual dungeon to collect on those keys, but you can come kill him and potentially get his rando loot. I've got to get used to Q being loot all. We have horses, if you want some quick horses. Kind of in the same vicinity is a spot that I used to really like before the update, and it hasn't gotten any worse, I tell you what. If you like to build little dock roleplay villages, this spot might just be for you. It's located near all of those resources I just mentioned because we're right here. It's just super really pretty, and it's often not built at because it's not a classic spot, but it's still close to that metal and other things you're going to need early game. Look at all these bays. Gorgeous. If you want a little bit of a flat area, you got that here. Yeah, onto the jungle. Then we'll circle back more into the middle of the desert. This spot is by far one of my most favorites before and still now. We've got a lovely view all the way around, nice panoramic of trees, foliage, some birds, some pretty bushes, plenty of room for activity, and it's a decent PvE and PvP spot. I do have to check whether we can still get in the little slotty hole here, which, damn, we can. Nice. Good to see. They've even made it a little bit more hid with these trees around. It was really nice of them. Thanks, Funcom. You can incorporate the tree into your builds if you like, or have little bridges over to this other pillar. You might think, oh, it's a bit far away from map room being obelisk, being all the way over here, but once you know the running route to go this way, it's actually pretty quick. We have really close metal just here. There's also a lot down below, with your occasional one skull bird getting about, and also some one skull snakes usually here. Maybe they moved them, not sure. One of the biggest downsides is it's quite far away from most big thrall camps, and that obelisk is a bit of a bitch to drag a thrall all the way here. So having a separate thrall wheel somewhere else could be good, but there is a tiny little thrall camp down here where you can get named crafting thralls potentially, or just regular crafting thralls, duty fighters, and also the potion of endowment recipe. And some other fun recipe bits. Maybe you're looking for less space for activity and want to live a bit in a temple somewhere slightly closer to a thrall camp here at the Pagoda of Boundless Lust. We have metal down below somewhere over there. I'm running along this bridge. We have a cool little temple you can build in. Yeah, you got to share it with some leaves, but also a decent place to put a tiny little thrall wheel, as this camp here can spawn some very good thralls. We've got sorcerers out the woozer here too. Well, a couple of them. Beep. That guy. We get our archpriests pretty regularly, and these little campfires. There we go, we got a named alchemist already. It's a little bit disorientating with everything being so different UI wise. Lots of thralls to pick and choose from, or gather souls or leather, whatever. Then just down, some more dudes. Just down over the edge, we'll find some metal spawns, which is much easier to see now. This spot is also quite nice, but often tooketh. You can find floating bits of flotsam that you can get resources out of sometimes around here. Build anywhere on this. These guys are good to kill for XP and pretty easy. You can build all up in here. Real pretty. Get a view of the bay. You can even build underneath if you want to be a bridge troll. Have just the vibes of the waves. We then have close proximity to the Dagon dungeon, just over our way here by clicking on the butt. There's a couple of resource boxes. Oh, calm down. And you can do the Witch Queen as many times as you like. Another resource box in here. Sometimes these guys can be one skulls. You can get some demon blood off them pretty easy. This spot can be one of the best for PvP, for sure, if built right, and it's close proximity to an obelisk. Really nice for fast traveling home. We've got all those resources that I mentioned, plus a couple more, because cats. Get up a cat army, and iron in your backyard. Lots of room for activities down below, but then we've also got up above. You can stack this out well. You can build it really pretty PvE, because we've got all of this down here too. And a quick drop and a sudden stop. In case I didn't show where Dagon's was just there, which I don't think I did, these temples here. In other types of videos, I'd usually suggest some of these pillars about, but this one is also taking into account ease ability to get to some resources. We got lots of iron, lots of trees, and a little bit of grass. More grass could be better, not gonna lie. But you could definitely get up some metal here. Plenty of thralls down below in Buccaneer Bay, Booty Bay if you will. And to be fair, start off small. You can stay pretty hid here for a little minute. It's not an ultimately great spot for PvP, but a ton of activity room for PvE. Really PvP too if you want. Any base is raidable. And people will come looking for you here. And it may already be tooketh, but plenty of fairly flat ground around. And a really nice view. Would this even be a base spot guide if I didn't mention the Eastern Barracks? One of the most picturesque spots to build, with this beautiful view out your front door. Heaps of Lotus in your backyard for leveling if you are still leveling. We've got a blood crystal rock nose who spawns right here, so you can trade in his resources over here. Lots of birds, which are good XP and meat, and a little thrall camp with a jailer and potential decent thralls in there. Let's see what we got. Not used to the buttons. Who'd we get? Should probably gonna get murked. T-posing, love that. A carpenter, nice. It's only gonna help you. Crazy thing I just learned, this is what glowing goop now apparently looks like. So I was like, what is this plant? I've never seen it before. Where's all the glowing goop? Yeah, there's glowing goop here too. This is actually a really pretty spot, but I think it's a little close to that thrall camp for you to build comfortably. But I've had like a thrall taming shack under here before. And there is a lot of iron just in this place here, which you can build a little bridge. There's a nice little rat hole right here. Boop. Yeah, you build a little bridge up or take the cabin through. Find all the metal. And to be fair, not a bad little spot either. Then we have more thralls with sorcerers and decent crafting, thralls on the other side, and a little bit of loot you can get up. And some boxes of stuff. Treasures to trade in, and as you'll be built quite close, that won't be a bitch tits to take home. And the temple itself is absolutely huge, and once you build, these guys won't be here anymore, and just, yeah, huge. You have a fully functional base just up in this top level. Well, you can, because I have done. And then right down below, we also have this little hidden area. It could be quite handy for PvP. One of the best spots I've built right, but barely ever is. And really nice for PvE, because look at this view. Look at this view. So pretty. But if the desert is a bit more your vibe, this is one of the best spots for building a fuck-off huge base. Kinda terrible for PvE unless literally a fuck-off huge clusterfuck base, and that would be difficult to swing up, but not a wildly traveled spot. We have a 3-skull enemy we can murk for keys right here. Also, our location on the map. We have lots of enemies to kill and heaps of iron because we are by the Tower of Bat. And this place is covered in iron. Terrible example because can't see any. We got a couple little thrall camps about. Jailers everywhere. We're having really good luck with the jailers today. A little thrall camp over there. And this one's a little bit better because we actually have close proximity to an obelisk this time, which is fun. As well as the den, which you can get a lot of good thralls at. Not high level thralls, mind, but good thralls and some good recipes in there. The obelisk being one of the best parts about being in this hood. Right here, and you can also go down and fight old mate if you really want it. The sinkhole on a public server, there's likely going to be an elevator down or build your own somewhere a little higher up, also near the obelisk. And you can't build too close to this camp, so like this half is out of bounds, but over here heaps of room for activities, a little bit of close metal. That's pretty cute. You can see Mechamosis' spire from here. Sometimes there's a bridge down there. Can't particularly say I ever really build in the savannah itself, but if you're looking for somewhere kind of close by that's really pretty and can be done for PvP or PvE. Heaps of bosses around to fight animals. It's so pretty now. Look no further than the Boundary Spillway. Again, PvP barely ever built right, but it's a nice little location. Sounds of waterfalls to make you want to pee. Another 3-skull there. Baby elephants, baby rhinoceri. Often we'll get people building here as a neighbor thinking that they're building in that one. And occasionally you'll get people building over here and blocking the way up, which is super annoying. Don't be that guy, because this is a nice little shortcut to the north. That location is right here. Then you're not just limited to the cave underneath, you can also come up top where you can find some pretty iron and some really nice little creeks about. Oh, so pretty, majestic. And this whole area here is really nice now. Like, it used to be pretty, but fuck off. That spot's here. We've got access to pigs, we've got berries, we've got a little bit of metal. Thralls are a bit far and few between here, but not impossible. Just through the trees we have a little pirate camp. Gonna have name dudes. We have a jailer. And around the corner we even have a sorcerer. Oh, sorcerer. The pocket. Now you might think it's not that close to an obelisk, but it's actually not too far from the jungle obelisk. Well, the swamp obelisk. Also, since when was there a giant pig in the middle of the sanctuary ruins? But apparently the one skull pig is now here. You can kill him, maybe get some demon blood. Can't build here, but you can build down here a little bit more. And like Imi's cradle right here. Oh, beautiful. Love this spot. But yeah, you can get a little bit cock-blocked by the no-build zone. So to be warned if building on this particular island. I do now realize I left out most of the swamp in my jungle tour because, well, it's still kind of a swamp. Still full of spiders and stuff. But yeah, you can come from the swamp obelisk just over there through this cave. It'll lead you to the north. Ooh, I'm stuck in a hole. It's actually kind of pretty in here, but I don't think you can build in here. You used to be able to once upon a time, but make your way up and through the door, which will bring you out a little bit in the norther than what you may have been thinking, but a little short run down. The closest obelisk option, really, because the ice bridge is way icier to get across and you might die of coldness. Before I show you more of the places I like to build in the north, I'll continue with my desert tour. Now the southern aqueduct, very popular to build up on. If you're on PvP, you can build up there. If you're on PvE, build wherever you like along this bitch. We have some really nice compartments, which I actually like this one over here a little bit more. Because we've got all these stairs and cool shit you can run up and down and kind of dark and dingy, but you can make it nice, you can make it home, I believe in you. We've got close proximity to metal all around this area, really. Lots of hides and stuff, and the teacher for Mitra. We've got caves of crystal below us and gossamer, there's more metal. In the spider caves, where are the spider caves? There. Even coal and aloe. It's just really pretty now. It's not too newbie area, but you still get to take in all the pretty desert bits. And we have a nice close proximity to... Oh, look, we even got a named cooked right there. To Thralls at the den. Plenty of sorcerers to be gathered here. And sometimes even a Catan caravan is chilling out the front, and events that spawn that you can do, the little siptery events that happen. I personally think it's quite fun to build a little village along the bridge if you're playing PvE roleplay situations. But for PvP, she's quite high. She's quite hard to trebuchet. And you can claim most of this, all of this really. It depends just how far someone is built near you. But there's a solid chance someone's already there. Because we have this spot inside. But I personally think this spot up in can make for a pretty cute little PvE base. Fly up here with your bat of Nurgle. Taking all the views. And then we have the many sloots of temples that you can really take your pick of. It's a nice spot. It looks pretty. There's lots of flat, cool areas, close proximity to the den. All of these, you can go inside there. Got distracted with my dog barking, but low-key, look at this sky. Extra reason to build in this hood. So much on this sky. But what I think I was saying before that happened was you can go inside all of these and they're all a little bit different. They all have pros and cons going on. Like this one, you can blow in pretty easily through there and sometimes people don't stack it well. And you can, well, actually, maybe you can't, but sometimes you can peep through temples. My favorite one out of all of these is over, ooh, where am I? Over here. We have the gutter. Pretty hidden little entrance. Our spot on the map is here. So many rooms for activities. You can fully stack this bitch out and build a little hanging base up there. Or make it really nice and PvE in here. Have separate little houses going on. Make a whole village community. Then we got out the backside. Actually, pretty nice little flat area here. And then on top, we can also build. And if you're really looking fancy, you can build inside here. One of the few spots where you can. Obviously, we've got close proximity to trees. There's also metal about, and we're right next to Brimstone Lake. So that's nice. If you are on PvP, you get all the brimstone. Just down here. Fucking take me forever to fly down here. Increase my fly speed. It's really pretty. And we have an obelisk and dungeons very close by. But you can get black ice and all sorts of goodies, armor paddings, all sorts of goodies in there. Kill the skeletons. Yeah, fuck, the obelisk looks kind of crazy now. If you're a multiplayer, there's often even a map room here you can use. And multitude of different pathways up. Kind of in the same area, but a lot flatter and a lot worse for PvP unless you build a clusterfuck rat nest. We have this area on multiplayer servers. If it's privately owned, there's often like some type of arena or admin building here because it's close-ish run to the noob area and on the way to Sepermeru, which is where a lot of noobs head straight away because good resources. So it's close proximity to every thrall you could ever want and all of the fucking resources. We also have a silver mine / iron mine right next door with a dungeon inside there. There's even one skull rhinoceros that you can kill. And if you don't happen to have a dancer yet, you can come visit Conan at his little hut, the tavern, and cure your corruption by just chilling in here for a bit with these fellas. And all the dungeons and goodness that comes along with Sepermeru. If you like this place in general and you fancy building here, you can actually build right here pretty much. Now it's not directly next to Sepermeru, but look at us go. And you get a fucking sick view of the lake and a quick drop and sudden stop into Sepermeru. Fuck yeah, a sandstorm. They're looking pretty crazy these days. Nice flat area in fairly similar vicinity near the Oasis of Neked, and we have a nice little overlook of a little jaguar pond with some babies. All those resources that I mentioned just here. And some more rhinos and metal and dead trees galore. A nice another flat area that you can build down here, but slightly uglier, so we prefer up here. Up now in the north along Sperm River, we have some really nice spots, but this one particularly can be really repeated, built right on PvE. Terrible PvP spot. You got that permanent mist going on, keep that in mind unless you turn that off. And lots of wolves in the hood too, so it's not super beginner friendly, but it's nice. Lots of flat area along the river, and it's basically next door to God's Claw, just over in this area for metal, really close to New Asgarth for all your thrally needs. Let's be honest, it just looks majestic as fuck these days if you're into that Northheimer vibe Viking village look. Nice flat area. Right around the corner we have a much better PvP spot with the Crevice, which, damn, she's looking pretty now too. The trees have really filled out. Metal right here. One of the biggest holes in the game. Again, you could build a little PvE village in here or stack it out for PvP. Every single fucking room for activity. Oh, look at the wildflowers. Oh, so cute. And we just keep on keeping on. Nice room for a map room here. Ooh, little death pit. It's a nice spot. Still in the north, but a little bit closer to New Asgarth this time. Basically anywhere along here, real pretty to build these days. We got iron nearby, we got thralls nearby. We got a cool little thing we can build in nearby. We didn't know you can build in this thing. And it's just real pretty, a little bit gloomy, but depends on the vibe you're going for. And metal just there, you don't even have to go all the way to God's Claw. With a similar vibe, but just down the cliff. We're here, nice flat area, all of the cute little flowers about. Metal just up here. Terrible for PvP, lovely for PvE. Metal just there. Thralls everywhere. Excellent spot. To be honest, there are just so many pretty spots in the north now to build. It's really goddamn majestic. I also quite like anywhere along the northern aqueduct, but particularly building around the lake. So we got metal there, and we got a little thrall camp just here with a jailer. You can build right there in the middle if you so desire. You can actually really see the water up here now, which is pretty cool. Heading a little bit more north along that aqueduct, we have this whole great dam, which beautiful, I must say. Building along here in any way, shape or form could be cool. Building on top. Over here, can we still even do that? Yes, we can. Good. Now you can have a temple in your house. Temple? That thing. Story time. We have thralls just down below here. You get all sorts. There is also a rock-nosed Groot thing that you can kill just down in here. There. metal. Real pretty just everywhere along here. And then we have the Keyhole, which is much better for PvP. Especially if built right. It is lots of room for activities like all of these spots. Who would have thought? And goddamn, it's pretty out here now. These trees really leaps and bounds, I must say. I don't even have my graphics all the way up. It's crazy. Oh, so majestic. Yeah, great all-round little area, this one. Well, it's kind of shadowy over here. Apparently the mountains block the sun and you only get a couple of spots of light, and it's really cool. Really makes it feel like you're living in the cold. But the Ice By Chasm, if you liked the snowy area, is really nice. Lots of room for activities. Good for PvP, good for PvE. Can't complain. We got the actual chasm itself that we can pop down inside. Not the prettiest spot in the world, but not far from the volcano obelisk. You can just run down here. We are pretty close to the ruins of Xalan, so you can get metal and all sorts in that dungeon. Rolls are a little bit of a problem here, but close enough to these ones that it's not too bad. Very dark here now, though. Probably going to be living in perpetual darkness. It's like 1 in the game, 1 PM. On the other side of the ruin, God, I'm good at speaking. On the other side of the ruins of Xalan, we have the river mouth. Just coming into the north, we have a nice flat area, plenty of room for building a dock. A couple of wolves over there. And you can take in all this majestic ass view and a bit more light than over in the Ice By Chasm. But you still get that snowy, icy vibe. This really is going to be an asshole of a video to edit. There's so many spots that are good to build, let's be honest. Up in the snow further along the volcano is looking cool. Actually, a little bit too red in my opinion. Up behind the Frost Temple, which we have an obelisk right down in there. Where are we? Right there. Black ice. Another little story. And when built right, this is incredibly defensible. A little bit lacking on the resources, sure, but with that close proximity to the obelisk, really no worries to teleport back. You can get star metal falling in your hood, and yeah, a majestic ass view. Yeah, I'm actually not a fan of the new lava. But anyway, we're up in the volcano, one of my favorite places to build. It's gotten murkier. These could be cooler. I thought with the change of the glowing goop that these might look a little bit more epic, but you can get wood off these guys and stone everywhere. A little bit sketchy on the metal, not gonna lie, but these guys drop shit in their pockets. You can get obsidian and gold from these drops, and of course we've got rolls. The actual spot I like to build is over here. We have a lava. That's cool. I like that lava. It should all look like that unless like that. But yeah, you can build in the middle of this, and actually decent thralls purge base, because often the purge will spawn over here and they'll all murk themselves in the lava. The gold rock noses really are looking quite gold. But we have close proximity to one of them guys. Oh, so shiny. Just generally looks cool in this area. We have a pathway down to the valleys below where we can actually find a little bit of metal and stuff down there. Basically the lake. You've got choices of obelisks, so you can run through this way and go down to the Frost Temple through that cave. You can run through all this area and go to the actual volcano obelisk. I'm dying. Just here. And of course we've got the Well of Skelos that you can go and run regularly when you're this close. My god, it's fucking smoky in here. It makes sense. It's a volcano. Kill these guys for hides and resources. As you can dismantle this shit for iron, or maybe use it yourself. Bet you didn't know there was some ghosts up here. There really are a lot of good building spots in this game. These are just some of my more favorite now that, well, even before, but especially now that we've got these visual upgrades. So many more I could have mentioned. Let me know in the comments if I mentioned your favorite spot or if I happened to miss it on this run. This video is quite long and going to be a bitch to edit, and I appreciate you immensely for sticking around this long. I'm about to hit 11k subscribers any day now on YouTube, and I want to thank you all very much for liking and subscribing, commenting, doing all the engagement bits, watching my content in general, and especially those who make it this far. You're them real ones. I've recently been putting a little bit of effort into channel membership content. So if that's something that interests you and becoming a member, check that out. I try to make it as cheap as possible. Doesn't let me actually go much lower, or I'm stupid and can't figure it out. But we are having our very own Conan Exiles PvEC server. So members do get to join that. And we've got a bunch of other games that we also have servers on that you'll get to play on as well. But Conan being the main one, as that's the most slots that we have. I'll be playing on the server, recording content, doing all those things. Won't have admin rights myself. They'll be taken care of by other people. Maybe even you. I'll be opening up applications for all that as well. And I'll also be having some channel member exclusive only content. Nothing like guides and locking information behind paywalls and whatnot, but like general playthroughs and stuff that you real ones are actually interested in watching over the random guide viewers. Different challenges, different whatevers, things that you guys even just, God, I'm good at speaking, suggest. I can see why you guys follow me. I do have separate guides that go deeper into the different areas in the game. A lot of them do need to be updated. The visuals are looking different. The UI is wildly different, but the content is the same. Keep your eyes peeled for those new updated guides that will be coming out. I got a lot to do, but the old ones aren't completely useless. They're just not going to look as pretty. Until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.